Hello, I'm Citrus, and you're looking at the high-grade MS-06 R1A Zaku II High Mobility type from Gundam the Origin. This kit came out in August of 2015, and it retailed for 2,000 yen. Here's a size comparison to a Gundam marker. My girlfriend got me this for my birthday last year, and I have to say that this is by far one of the best high grades I have ever built, hands down. If you're not going to watch the rest of the review, that's all you need to know. I think the first thing anyone will notice about this kit is the sheer abundance of surface detail. We have a lot of panel lines, especially on the legs, which being white shows it off really well. Have a good amount on the legs, on the back of the legs, and everywhere. Just details, details, details. And it really helps that the kit comes with a lot of these clear special marking seals, just like the real grades do, to make it look even more premium. See the Black Tri-Stars logo right there on the head and on the shoulder. And I especially like what they did with the shield decals. Very evocative of the ones we got on the master grade Zakus. Just absolutely amazing. There's a bunch of really interesting mechanical designs too. Like the neck has this really cool, well, almost a triple joint really, that actually allows the, once you work it free a little bit, allows the head to look up. And I don't know about you, but I can't recall a high-grade Zaku in it, like ever, that's been made with a joint that lets the head look upwards. And of course, you also have the rotating mono eye with little tab, if you can see it down there, that will allow the eye to rotate. Yeah, good rotation there. And you also have this really nice sort of flex forwards. You see the sides of the chest compress in order for the arms to come together more. This is really good for those poses where you want to have the Zaku holding a weapon in both hands. Shoulder is pretty good. Doesn't move up too far, but as you can imagine, most Zakus can't move up much farther than this anyway. Rotating under the bicep, and double joint right there. Now, if I was to have one qualm about the sculpt of this kit, it's that the arms look a little bit too slim. I wish they would have looked a little bit beefier. Would even out because the legs are quite thick, right? But you just can't argue with the results. Like, that articulation is excellent. And I really like that they used this sort of like double circle sort of arrangement, so it isn't as dull as the usual just square joint. Looks very good. And the waist is also very nice. Like, that's a really deep bend right there. And you get actually a decent amount side to side, which is impressive. And you saw the side skirts move here, and this is really clever. So they're on the ball joint, but the spot where they go into sort of like extends more backwards so that they can move out like this. And that means when you have the skirt up, the leg can come up really nice and far. And you don't have to worry about this popping off either because the track that this is on accommodates for it. And a really good range outwards as well. Some rotation. Something to watch out for on this, that the normal Zaku doesn't have, is this extra chunk on the back of the thigh. So you may not be able to move this out as much, and as you saw just there, me twisting it outwards like this, popped out the skirt. Next, we move on to the knee. Now, most high mobility Zakus don't really have a good knee bend because of the chunk of stuff on the back. But I think this kit does a pretty good job, even despite that. I mean, that's like more than 90 right there. It's really solid. I also really like that the kneecap is attached to the knee mechanism, so it sort of moves up with it. Looks very good. And the last part is the ankles, which are quite excellent. You can see that there's a pretty good range right there. And this is really cool right here. So there's a sort of linked mechanism that when you bend the foot upwards, it will pull the heel in. So if I can do it, you see that? So as I move the front half of the foot, the heel moves on its own. So you get this really nice sort of split in the foot when you have to do like a crouching pose like that. It's a really nice touch that I don't even actually think the real grade has. Very, very clever engineering to see on a scale and price point as low as this. So Zaku's, having been always these mass production suits, typically come with a good number of optional parts, and this one is absolutely no exception. You get this alternative shoulder you can have for the left, and it's basically a plain shoulder, but just like this one, for you to hold ammo packs on. And if I pop these off, you can see that there's also a decal included for it, which is really nice. And of course, you get the obligatory commander's fin variation of the head, although you only have one of these stickers to use for the head, so you have to sort of commit to one. I've always sort of liked the flat, round look more than the fin, so that's the one I went with. Now, as for weapons, you already saw the rocket ammo packs, and there are actually 5 of these in the entire kit. So there's 2 there. There's 2 more here. And then you have the one that actually goes inside of the bazooka. And it's a little bit of a tight fit, which is good. But there you go. You can change them out. Go back in. There you go. And the bazooka itself looks really good. Have a moving handle and a scope. Pegged for the hands. The handle itself also moves, so you can do over-the-shoulder poses really easily with this. Next, you have this long rifle, which is my personal favorite weapon that comes with it. Here's a trigger finger hand that you can see. It comes with the kit. Nothing moves on this, but there is quite a lot of detail on it. Very good. And then you have the standard Zaku bazooka. Not too different from the other iterations that we've seen. No sticker for the scope, unfortunately. And the ammo pack does come off, although mine has, for some reason, rather decided to fuse to the rifle. The cross here that you see on top actually is cut through the piece. So what you're seeing right there underneath is the gun itself, which is pretty nice. And interestingly, you get 2 He-Hawks. So you get this one that has a peg for you to hang it off the side skirt, and you get this one, which does not have one. You can also see that this one doesn't have an extended blade, so that is a really neat touch because if you know about how He-Hawks function, they basically extend this blade, which is supposed to be superheated when they're active and retracted when they're not. So this is a really nice touch to include. And last but not least, a typical open hand, very similar in shape to all of the other open hands we've seen on other HGUC kits. And that's all for the accessories. Here's the final spin. In my opinion, this kit and the other ones like it are essentially the epitome of the high grade line right now. They really, really blur the line between, high grades and real grades, and I think they reach a really, really good middle ground right now where you have basically a kit that's halfway between the price of a high grade and a real grade, but has all of the surface detail that you'd expect, all of the little accoutrements like the decals and all that, but with none of the tiny fiddly parts or the fragile construction that plagues real grades. Now, it'd be fantastic if instead of releasing the version with the giant heat hawk separately, maybe they just bumped this up to maybe 23, 24, maybe even 2,500 yen, and just gave you all of the accessories together. But I think the reason why Bandai didn't want to do that is because it would make the distinction between this and the real grade perhaps a bit confusing for the typical consumer who doesn't know all that much about Gunpla. And either way you look at it, that's either bad for this, because no one's going to buy it because it's too expensive for a high grade, or people are going to stop buying the real grade because, hey, why not just buy this real grade, or sorry, this high grade that looks really good and has a bunch more accessories. In any case, I think it's relatively forgivable because the end result is still an incredibly solid kit that just looks so good. I haven't tried any of the prototype goof kits, but I am very, very excited to see what else we're going to see from Bandai in the high-grade Origin line. The new MS Discovery suits, like the prototype Dom, look very interesting, and I absolutely can't wait to get my hands on one. So with all that said, if you like a Zaku, this is probably the best version you can possibly get right now. The real grade is fiddly. I mean, it's complicated and, just loaded with detail, but it is really fiddly. So if you don't like that, this is the one to get. Obviously comes in Char's colors, and there's the two Black Tri-Star colors. And I'm sure that down the line, maybe a year or two from now, we'll see more. But I think it'll be a long time before this standard is broken by an even superior kit in this scale. So that's all for this review. Thank you guys very much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Mr. Robot 2.